there, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. I have some fun crafts for you today. Boy, I just blow through my name like really fast. Can you understand what I'm saying? My name is Linda. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Today we'll be working on some rustic farmhouse style Christmas home decor. Let's get started with project number 1A. For this video and project, I found these like furniture feet at a Habitat for Humanity. They were like $1 a piece. I'm going to add just some, bottle brush trees on top. One, not so wintry, one really wintry, and just make them have, a little fun. We've seen all sorts of versions of these things, and I just think they're so cute, and I've been wanting to do them. They are quick, they are easy, they are fun. And so first thing I'm doing is just taking some Waverly Antique Wax. I've got it mixed with water, of course. It's a nice, cheap, easy stain, and I'm just going to stain both of these, and then, of course, off camera, I'm going to just do a little bit of sanding to distress them. All right, I also want to distress like the wood part of the, bottom of the tree base because I want it to, blend in with the base, although we kind of cover it up, but still I've done it. So here they are sanded. The color lightens up a lot, doesn't it? Because it looks so dark when you first paint it, but just a little distressing around it. I like how they're turning out. And then I'm just using, this is just some like version of, it's E6000 glue, but I can't remember what thing it's called, but it's one that sets up in like 10 minutes, and it takes only like 4 to 6 hours to fully cure, and just gluing each of the trees to the top of this. Now I've got it just kind of laying on this thing, and we're going to start this spool, and we're just going to start, yes, brought out my hot glue gun, and start gluing some greenery to the bottom of both of these. They're going to look very similar, but a little bit different, so you could like, if you have these at a craft show, you can buy them as a pair or separately, however you want to do it. Adding in some beaded berries here. I get these in a pick. You all know, if you've been with me a long time, Hobby Lobby, $1.95 for a pick of these, $1.99 for a pick of these beaded berries. Adding in a little rusty star here. I'm going to bring in my Distress Oxide ink and Vintage Photo. I'm going to ink up this little clothespin. I like these. You can get them in the office section of like Walmart because they're short and fat. They're not the little mini ones, and they're not the great big long ones. I like them in between. And this, of course, is just the fabric tag we've been making all along. Couple ripped pieces of fabric, little batting in between. I sew around it, and then I've already used Michael's clickable stamps to, stamp the word believe on it and ink around that. Then, of course, I'm hot gluing it to a bow I made out of like a 1-inch strip of ripped fabric, and then I'm going to use actually Beacon Fabri-Tac glue to glue my clothespin around both of those because my hot glue is like one of those hot temps and it sets up super quick. So I had a little more time with the Fabri-Tac to get that on there, and then I'll hot glue that whole ensemble down here into the greenery. And it's a good thing I used the Fabri-Tac because I decided to make a little bow out of this kind of cream and burgundy twine. So I have that 1 minute working time. So once I make that into a bow, I can slip it right up under into that clothespin, and that makes this one complete. Let's work into this one. Same kind of thing, but just a little bit different, fabric, that kind of thing. I've got some garland. It's wire garland with rusty stars on them. You can't find this anymore. We used to get it at Joann's. This is just a little bit left that I got from my cousin Lori. So I'm just kind of twirling the ends and stuff like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and hot glue some greenery down below on this one. I try to use different greenery on both, so they, obviously both look a little bit different. I wanted this greenery to be a lot more snowy too because the tree is a lot more snowy. That's my thinking behind that. Of course, I'll bring in my beaded berries. The same kind of elements, but yes, very, very quickly to put these together, and I love how they turned out. A lot of these you'll just see maybe a bow on there or something like that, or some people would just put them into like a spool of thread, which we're going to make a cup or one of those, just put it in there and that's it. You can do however you want it, but I like to just dress it up a little bit more. So I'm adding the same bow. I'm adding, a little fabric tag here, of course. I'm adding the rusty star garland, and then I added a bell with the rusty safety pin right in the middle of that. And then I decided, I forgot to add, I was going to add the rusty star garland behind the tag, but I decided it would look better underneath the tag, so I'm adding that in last minute. And then, of course, hot gluing this whole ensemble to that greenery area. And then the very last thing is I'll come in with some of this glitter dust. It's clear with a little hint of silver, and I'll just kind of just a slight glitter everything up. And let's move right on into project number 1B. So this I actually started with and then I rearranged, but these are vintage crochet spools of thread that I found at a thrift store. This one didn't have the label in the bottom, so any of them that didn't have that, I cut a piece of cardboard to fit in the bottom. And I'm just filling the center with cotton to take up the space, and Bella wants the cotton, of course. And these, I actually got a package of 12 of them at the local thrift store. Beautiful vintage. They actually have the labels like in, like most of them, they're stained up. This is how they used to come. The spools would be all threaded up. This was 70 cents. And then they'd have the center wrapped around with the thread. But I love all the different sizes that came with it. And these are going to look so cute in all different sizes. And I know we've seen these before, but let's take it to the next level. So this tree came from Walmart, plastic base. So I decided to add a little bit of cotton around that just so it will help also take up the space in the center of that spool. I've got, ripped strip of fabric already tied into a bow, some beaded berries here again from Hobby Lobby, rusty star here. And then here's my tag. Again, 2 pieces of muslin with some batting in the middle. I've sewn around it. Muslin that I ripped into pieces. And then I'm just using here the Michael's clickable stamps to stamp the word Mary. And I'll go ahead and glue the bow down. I don't want to add a lot here because I want the tree and the spool to be seen. But yeah, we've all seen versions of these, and usually they're just kind of stuck in the spool and that's it. And that's perfect. They look cute. A different way to have a base. But like I said, I just kind of wanted to dress it up a little bit more. Adding my rusty star behind my bow here. Yeah, I just love the staining of the vintage and everything on these spools. They're awesome. Adding a, twine bow, glued it to the front of the tag. So while that's setting up, I'm going to glue on my little beaded berries here. Then I'll go ahead and take a rusty safety pin and a bell, and we're just going to clip it right in the corner of that tag there, and then we'll just glue this right in the center of that ensemble. We're done with this. You could totally just go, with a bow and a rusty star, a bow and a bell in the center, however you want. I love that these are simple and they look so cute clustered in different sizes, so I'll make sure I have some of the other sizes at the end when we take a look at the final results. And that makes this project complete. No shimmer glitter on these. Let's move right on into project number 2. Now this is going to look familiar to you, but I found another one of these floaty shelves at a thrift store. I think it was, what do we got here? $3. So I grabbed it right up, fresh off of the other video we just did with the wood trees on top. Only this time we're going to use the bottle brush trees, and we're going to make it look like a winter wonderland. And then I've got one of these wood slats from Dollar Tree we're going to use. I'll take these off a little bit later because, might be able to use them on something else. And then our Dollar Tree finally got these acrylic deer in. We're going to spray paint that up. So let's get to work. On the front here, I'm using another one of these cabinet shelves that I've been using in the last couple of videos. I think they were like $1 at Habitat for Humanity, or some people, theirs are called Restore. I think ours is called Restore now too, because you wanted to know the history of the name of the store. While I take off the hardware here, I'll replace it back on. But take this off, and then I'm going to sand it all up so we can get rid of the, stain on it. Don't really like that. Let that beautiful kind of wood show beneath it. So I'll just show a little bit of sanding here with my electric sander. But yeah, I love the hardware on these things. I picked up like 4 or 5 of them. I think I might only have one more. But I'll leave the video down below where I made the other one using the floating shelf and stuff, and that's where I kind of got my idea. Let's make another one, but we'll make it look completely different. All right, now I'm putting the hardware back on because this hardware just adds personality. Why not? I didn't sand in those little grooves. Let's leave it there for a little coloring. And then one more of the hardware on here. But yeah, I almost think I like this one better than the other one. You have to let me know down below, if you watch the video, which one of these you liked best, the wood trees or the bottle brush trees. And here I am just spray painting that acrylic deer white. Nice and simple, nice and easy. It's amazing, just a coat of white it's got white chalk spray paint, flat white. How it upscales this clear acrylic deer. I got a few more of the deer because I want to paint them white and just put them around in my own home decor. But yeah, I love how it turned out. Just simple, easy. And you could add like a little bow to its neck. Nice and easy. Okay, so here's the floating shelf. I went ahead and sanded it as well off camera, just to kind of take, it has a gloss on it because I'm going to glue this to the front of that. And so I just didn't want anything interfering with the glue. Here's the thing we're going to, put on top, the wood slat. Before I do anything with that though, here's the trees. I've got 4 different trees. Again, all of these except for the kind of the darker ones from Walmart. Some knobs we're going to use as bases, although one of the knobs, the silver knob, right here I just set down, I end up changing that. I end up changing to just another wood knob. All right, and I'm going to take the bases off the bottoms so that we can get them into the knobs because the knobs are really skinny holes. So we'll go ahead and work with that. Yes, Walmart has a package of 16 of the bottle brush trees for like $8.98. They are beautiful quality trees. If you see them in your Walmart Christmas section, snack them up. So this first one I kind of bent the wire over on the base of the tree, added a little glue over there so the wire can set in it, and then I've just got this wood circle here. I'm adding glue to it, and I'm going to press it into that, and then I clamp it off camera so it's going to hold that wire in place. And that silver knob that you see laying up there, I wanted to put the tree in there, but it was too big. I just couldn't get it to set up. This one I ended up putting a little foam tape on the bottom of it, like that medical foam tape, adding some glue around it, and that took up the space to go inside of the knob. So that worked, but the other one I just couldn't make it work, so I ended up grabbing another wood knob, and here it is. Glued in there, nice and perfect. Didn't have to add anything to the wire around it or anything. I will have to sand off the bottom of that as well as the other wood knob I've got. I'll deal with that in a minute off camera. Now I'm taking that wood slat. Finally, we're getting to it. I'm taking our, trusted Waverly antique wax mixed with water for our stain. Gonna, obviously stain it up. And then, of course, I will go ahead and sand it and distress it a little bit off camera. All right, now I'm taking some just chalk paint. Here, just Debbie's Design Diary DIY White Swan chalk paint, a little mix of water to make it more like a wash. And then I'm just going to kind of paint the center a little bit. We've done this before. I like doing it. It adds a slight bit of color without taking away from everything else. And then off camera, I'll sand it up. Okay? Distress it and take most of the paint off because I just want like a hint in the background. But it's hard to paint a hint. Here it is, ready to go. So it looks powdery soft, right? There's a reason for it. Looks a little wintry. I will have a free printable for you. Link will be in my description box to my blog of this. I will have one with the frame and one without the frame so you can print it off, or I'll have the fonts for you. I don't know where I got the frame. I'm sorry, but you could add any kind of frame you want, but I'll have the fonts for you if you just kind of want to, design your own and, your electronic cutting machine, programs. All right. So then I'm getting this onto the front of our little sign shelf here. My last one, when I put a sign on it, I wrapped twine around on the ends. I'm not going to do that on this one because I want the focus to be on the little wintry wonderland scene on top, which is why I called it Walking in a Winter Wonderland. And then I just got black paint mixed with water, fan brush. I dip it in, wipe off the excess, and then I tap the fan brush to add splatters. Those of you, I know you've heard it so much, you could probably say it in your sleep, but we have new people come in all the time, and they need to know what I'm doing, right? Now I'm taking these little hardware things off the top because, yeah, like I said, I could probably use them on, other signs I make and stuff like that. And then I'm going to use this E6000 glue here to glue it onto the top, the wood slat onto the top. Again, the wood slat from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to start kind of arranging. Oh, wait, here's where I sanded off the bottom of my knob. On this one and on this one so that it sits flat and doesn't rock on top, easier to glue, of course. I'm going to start setting these into place, see where I want them to be. But yeah, I like how this one turned out best. I think it's the deer. I don't know. Here it is. Look how beautiful it looks. Just a little spray paint. So quick and easy and just, like I said, beautiful. See how I want this to set. And that wood slat was just wide enough to fit the whole entire deer on there. Okay, but I'm going to squinch the trees up around it so it looks like the deer's kind of walking through the trees. And I know it looks like Jolly Green Giant deer walking through the trees, but you get the gist. All right, I'm adding my glue to the other trees, and then lastly, I'll kind of glue that deer on, but I want my trees on first, and then I can, set the deer in between it. I do off camera add glue like around the feet of the deer because there's not a lot of gluing surface there. So I just add like a bunch around the feet, but you're not going to see that because we're going to add some fake snow and greenery in there a little bit so that covers up all that glue, that I put around the deer to make sure that deer doesn't, just topple off the top. All right, adding the last tree in here. Perfect. And now we're adding a deer. Again, like I said, a little bit on the feet, and then I add just a big jumble around the feet once I've got it on to the wood on top there. But like I said, I do that off camera. Perfect. All right, now here I'm just a few pieces of greenery right under the deer. I do end up adding a little bit more off camera, but it's the same process here, and I'll tell you why I do in a minute. But just a couple little bit of snowy greenery, like the deer's tromping on any branches on the ground, right? And a couple of, frosty, snowy looking pine cones in here just to add a little bit more to our winter wonderland scene. I'll change the view here up in just a minute. Here we go. So you can see it a little bit better. And then this is just a bow I made. It was like the end of the spool. So the ends, that's how they got all curly. So I'm going to take advantage of that to add just a little bit of color to our wintry wonderland scene. And now I'm just I start out with Beacon Fabri-Tac glue and a Q-tip, and then I come in with that E6000 glue, but it's that E6000 glue that's like quick glue. Remember I said earlier, it sets up in like 10 minutes, but fully cures in like 4 to 6 hours or something like that. But I paint it on with the Q-tip so I can get it like on the base of the trees and stuff like that. And then I just pour, fake snow right in and on that glue and kind of smush it down. I do it on the back side as well because I want that to look finished off back there. But see, this is how it's going to cover up the extra glue around the deer's feet and everything like that. It'll just take that fake snow. Here I am adding now switching to that E6000 type glue. All right, and then when I put the sign on the front, it kind of extends our whole base out. Again, I'm using that E6000. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it here in just a minute as a little title. Right, adding the E6000 glue, putting it on the front, but it extends our sign out forward, so it almost makes like we got a little 1-inch extension out from the deer. So I've added already a little bit of greenery. If you look at that extends to, up over the sign we just added. You can see I'm all like, clamped in while it's setting so I can continue working. And then I'm just going to extend the snow out a little bit onto the top of that sign so it all looks intentional. So it all kind of floats out, brings that sign in, so it all looks together, intentional. Now I'm using a little spatula here, of course, to get that snow in there. But yeah, I love how it turned out, and just that little bit of kind of that burgundy red from that bow. We'll fix that bow in a minute, don't you worry. All right, a little bit more glue here. Since we're only kind of a 2.5 project video, I just kind of slowed it down for you so you can, watch it and see it. I normally speed it up trying to really get our video down here on time for you. But all right, now I'm coming in with those already curled tails. That was the beauty of getting to the end of the spool. And then I'm just kind of spot gluing that into place so that it doesn't like lay down in front of the quote. It'll, lay right up above it, but give us our little bit of whimsy. Perfect. And then I'm going to come in over to the other side here, and I'm going to spot glue it onto the greenery and right along the top a little bit. I do add a little bit of shimmer. I don't know if I show me shimmering it. I don't think I do. But I do add a little bit of shimmer right along on the deer and the trees and things like that, just to kind of shimmer it up, of course. But once I finish this bow and the shimmer off camera, that makes this project complete. So I hope you enjoyed all of these projects today. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know which one was your favorite. And as I had stated earlier, I'm going to kind of keep it simple today, believe it or not. Take me 10 minutes to get there, but I'm going to keep this simple. If you saw the other video with the sign, remember I'll have a link in the description box for you. Which sign did you like best? Did you like the one with the wood trees or this one? And then like between the two different trees, do you like the thread spool base better or like the furniture feet base better? I'm curious to know. Please give this video a thumbs up. Told you it was simple. It really helps my channel to grow. And if you walked in here for the first time, you're just checking things out, you're digging what you saw, make sure before you click off, you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on another video from me. It's just about that time. So before I go, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. We were created with purpose by a Father who thought the world of us. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and because of his great love for us, from the dust of the earth, we were given life. Through the years, as people have lived their lives that God intended for them, some were given extraordinary talents to accomplish huge goals, and some simply lived an ordinary life. Neither type of person was proclaimed better or more important by God, whether we read about them through the pages of history books or heard about them through the memories of loved ones. The word purpose is defined as the reason for which something is done or created. God had a purpose for each and every soul in the past, and he has a purpose for each and every soul in this present time, and of course, he has a purpose for each and every soul coming in the future. This purpose was not, is not, and will not be based on special talents, but it's based on God's unconditional love that he extends to every generation. Having purpose doesn't need to be pictured as a grandiose event like running with the bulls in Pamplona, Spain, or climbing the Swiss Alps in Europe. Having purpose can be simply pictured as bringing joy to others or spending quality time with loved ones. Living life with purpose isn't a profound philosophical assessment of how you should represent your ideals. It's simply living in such a way that your heart has the determination to be a survivor and living the best life God has given you. Your life should be meaningful, living with the intention to be alive in Christ, living with his grace through faith and believing the impossible because God can make it possible. In your purpose-driven life, seek to know God and love him more each day. Fellowship with him, love others, and love yourself. Share God because it's important for such a time as this, and live according to his will for you while trusting him and acknowledging him in all his ways. Always be willing to do any good works that God prepares you to do. Embrace his plan for your life and navigate it with confidence, secure in the knowledge that you are living an impactful life. Simply stated, don't stress out about what your purpose is or isn't in this life. Just know that you are deeply loved by God and strive to have the desire to live a life that will make a positive impact in this world. Make your life beautiful and amazing because remember, God made this world beautiful and amazing for you. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.